Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Mind Your Puckin' Business with your host, Jeffrey Krentzman.
Thank you, Dougie Sticks. Good morning. It sounded there for a minute like you didn't say puckin', like you said another word. I don't know. It's bound to happen at some point. Anyway, welcome to the program. We're coming to you on Election Day, November 3rd, 2020. Coming to you, as always, from the beautiful studios of Undefeated Media here in Bergen County, New Jersey. And now, it's gotten cold, as we've been talking about the last couple of weeks on the show. But now it makes sense, because once you turn the clocks back, it's got to be cold, right? Yep. So how was your weekend? How was your Halloween?
Not bad. I mean, I feel like I've lost a little bit of the Halloween spirit. Didn't even wear a costume this year. Been just super busy, but yeah, nothing to complain about. How about you?
It was good. So we live. We've never talked about this on the show. The street that we live on, as I say, in the intro every week, we come to you from Bergen County, New Jersey. Yeah. My little street. Now, I don't live on a big street. My little street was voted 2 years ago as one of the 3 best streets to trick or treat on in Bergen County. Nice. It's chaos. The cops actually come to my driveway and put a barricade up, and then they block the entire street for street traffic. So it's super safe for kids, right?
Nice.
But this year, with everything going on in the world, we really had no clue what to expect. Well, we knew this. We knew it could not have gotten any crazier than it was. And it still was pretty hectic. The kids had a good Halloween. My daughter, who does not like chocolate, really is like me and doesn't really care for the candy. So she went and did some things with her friends outdoors, of course, not inside. And I took my son trick-or-treating maybe at most 10 or 15 houses. And what happened is it's a kid's dream, right? So now people don't want you coming to their door. They leave tables outside and it says, please take one. Well, there's a word in there that's missing.
Yes.
Right. The one shouldn't be there. So they took, let's say, because for the Spanish dial, I did forget in the intro, this is episode 11. So episode 11? Am I right?
11.
Yeah. So they made out while Halloween was good, and then on, I guess it was the next day here on Sunday, it got really cold and dark early, and now we know we're heading into winter. And today, as mentioned, is Election Day, so it would be catastrophic for me to talk about politics because I really don't know a lot about it. So I am not very political. I never have been. My grandmother was, that I know when I was growing up, but I am not. So all I'm going to say for the people that listen to the program, and we will leave it at that, is whether your candidate wins today or not, and I don't think people are going to know today from what it sounds like, whenever you find out if your candidate wins or not, just be nice. Don't go crazy. Yep. Be nice to your friends who voted for the other candidate. Yeah. We have enough going on in this world right now, especially as we head into the winter and stuff is going the wrong way. We don't need added stuff. Just be nice. Be kind. Is that too much to ask?
It's not. And, I'm going to jump on that bandwagon too. Like, at the end of the day, we need to do what's best for us as a group rather than a side. I feel like there's too polarization. There's too much spreading apart. We need to come together and do what's right for us as a country rather than, fight amongst ourselves.
Absolutely correct. So yes, whatever you do today, go out and vote. We encourage that. But I also encourage you at the end of the day, whether your candidate wins or loses, still be nice to people. Please. We don't need this right now. So as we head into, and we're going to get into our NFL picks in a little bit. We are now flying through the season. We are coming into week 9, which is crazy because I remember vividly sitting here week 1, seems like it was last Tuesday. And now that was a mere 2 months ago. But we'll get into some NHL picks, or NHL, I wish, NFL picks later on. But let's talk hockey and the little bit that's going on. And there's not a lot going on. We are in this really, really interesting point in time, and I would even say for the history of the game as well, in that we do not know what next season is going to look like. Now, in a normal year that has not been sidetracked by the coronavirus, the NHL season would have began a month ago in the beginning of October. Here we sit at November 3rd, and we know that this season is going to be played. We don't know how, we don't know when, and we don't know in what format. And one thing that keeps coming up, and unfortunately it's this current state of affairs that we live in, is the NHL may have to come up with an idea where they have an all-Canadian division. So all the teams in Canada, whether you are out west, which would be Vancouver or Calgary and Edmonton and Alberta, or you're on the eastern side of the Canadian country, being Ottawa, Montreal, and Toronto, may all have to play in one conference. And the reason why is teams cannot cross the border right now. So if you were, let's take, I'm going to pick a random team here. Let's say the New York Rangers. Well, I don't know why I picked that one. And you played a game at Madison Square Garden, and you had a game in Montreal the next night, which you normally would, you would not be able to cross the border really easily. So there's a logistical issue going on. It's certainly in all areas that we read, does not appear that hockey will be back but by the end of this calendar year, and will start sometime in January. Now, there are some talks, and this is encouraging if you want to get into encouraging news, that there might be limited fan capacity allowed in arenas. If you watch the NFL games on the weekend, like we do, you do see that there are some fans in the stadium. There are no stadiums out there where there are 75,000 people right now packing in the stadium, but you will see stadiums where maybe have 5 or 10,000. There is some talk that in some areas of the country, you may have some fans in the arena. I want to be an optimist, Dougie Sticks, but being that I am a season ticket holder for the New York Rangers, and that team plays at Madison Square Garden in New York City at 33rd and 7th in a building that has a capacity of 18,200 people. I don't know how there would be fans in Madison Square Garden anytime soon.
I just want to go back along with that too. You have this all Canadian league. Was that 7 teams?
It would be, yes. So the 6 that I mentioned, and then the Canadian team that plays in the middle of the country, the Winnipeg Jets. Yes, you would have that. But I don't know. There are so many questions that the NHL has to answer and get figured out that, I mean, look, get me hockey back in any way, shape, or form in the beginning of January, because my expectation then, and I'm not, trust me, I'm not a scientist at all. I struggle with my kids' science stuff at home. But my expectation is that we're going to be inside in the winter a lot more. Like my daughter, for example, who plays winter sports. We got an email yesterday saying that all winter sports through the town is shut down.
Wow.
Right. So they're not going to use the indoor gym space, which I don't want to say is a surprise. I mean, you kind of expected that it wouldn't happen, but you kind of see the signs that say we're going to be home a lot, because when you're in the winter, right, in a non-corona world, you're either home with your family or you're going out to an event. What event, which is indoors? Obviously, you're not doing outdoor events in January in a polar vortex. What indoor events would really be happening? Nothing.
You can't do it. Well, I mean, that's the thing. What are we allowed to do? That's the thing. How many people are allowed to be in these events? That's like, it's going to be, I hate to say it, but we're going to, it's going to be 2020 again. It's going to be the same thing we did last year. It's going to be
2020.
Where basically you're just trapped in your house.
And here's why I think, not to be the, bearer of doom or whatever. Here's why I think it's worse. All right.
We had a taste of summer. We had a taste of
that it does have to do with the climate, but in at least when this happens. So again, this program comes to you from Bergen County, which is right outside of New York City. So this was a really bad hot spot, as everybody knows, early on. Okay. So we really entered lockdown on March 14th. I remember the day, it was a Saturday. We had plans that day, and instantly, it was Friday the 13th, really. 13th. So what happened, Friday the 13th, everything went bad. Yeah. 2 nights before, the 11th, so we're going back Wednesday the 11th, we had in the town that I live in, a father-daughter dance at a catering hall. I mean, it was like, okay, there's just this thing is out there, but, hey, we're going to a dance, whatever, And then 2 days later, it was like nothing. I mean, the world's shut, right? I remember that Saturday, the 14th, we were playing outside with friends, and we didn't understand how you had to social distance. Like, what do you mean you can't sit next to people? You can't go near your friends. But as I was saying, at least when this happened in March, my point was, you were at least trending into warmer weather. In April, you could go outside and play. You could go outside and sit on the deck or whatever. You're not going to be doing that in January. And the other thing is, and I was thinking, and we'll do this maybe in the coming weeks on the show, having some restaurants on to try and help them out right now onto the program. But all this outdoor eating stuff, which did kind of work over the summer, right, when they reopened. And I mean, I went out and ate outdoors, and I'm still breathing. I'm here. But people are not going to want to sit outside and spend $125 on dinner to sit in the freezing cold. And I don't care how many heaters you have in a tent. I've seen the heaters. I mean, they help if you're sitting right next to them, but it's not. So I don't know.
It's going to be interesting.
So it will be interesting around here. It'll be interesting everywhere. We just obviously hope that it goes the right way, which it's not at the moment. Some of these numbers that you see out there, and in any event for the NHL season, hopefully can come back in some way, shape, or form.
It's kind of like this is like forcing us to be in that like futuristic bubble that, where you have like these 3D goggles and you're in like your little room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like pushing us towards that, like virtual learning and little bubble of classrooms. Like,
did you see, while we're on this topic, and I am going to Google it right now. I'll get the name of it. Here it is. There is a movie. This is like weird, very strange. You should look this up. There is a trailer for a movie that came out this weekend. The movie is called Songbird. Okay. I don't know where I found it or why I got it. It is about COVID-23. So it is a movie set based on a new strain. Almost 2 years. Actually, only 2.5 years. I thought 2023 was further out. Man, time just flies, right? So it's about a movie where COVID-23 makes COVID-19 look like nothing. Like if you get the virus, the fatality rate is enormous, which thank God here it's not there at the moment. So this guy has made money, or is about to make money. I believe the director's name is Michael Bay. It is cashing in on human suffering. And if you look at some of the critics, or some of the critiques in the media, I should say, that this movie is getting, you should check out what is going on with Songbird. But it is apocalyptic. It is scary to watch. And I see you have it up now on the screen here in the studio. It is not something you want to watch. So hopefully this gets under control and we don't trend anywhere.
So did you see it? Or
no, I watched. The trailer is out. So I typed it in, as I said, on the computer here. The first thing that comes up, if you thought COVID-19 was scary, check out the trailer for the movie Songbird.
Oh my God.
It's
too
hard,
soon.
It's hard. You know what? And it's hard to watch. I mean, look, I'm a germaphobe by nature. People who know me know that. So like, they would tell you now with coronavirus, don't go to ShopRite and touch the carts and wipe it down. Man, I've been doing that for 10 years. Ain't nothing new to me. It's not changing my routine. I've always had stock and Purell in my So definitely I would avoid this Songbird movie. But hopefully.
Have you seen Contagion or what's the other one? Oh, the other one's even better than Contagion. Contagion's with Gwyneth Paltrow, and then the other one.
I definitely have not.
With what's his name? Give me a second.
Cue the Jeopardy music here in the studio.
Outbreak.
No. I don't. You know what? Jess and I, we've never, even before we had kids, so I can't blame this on kids, never were like sit down and really watch a movie people.
Yeah.
I mean, even when we didn't have kids, and I mean, we would go occasionally. Chances are, if you name a movie and say, "Hey, did you see this movie?" There's a 99% chance I did not see that movie.
I'm the opposite.
Yeah, right. And we've talked on the show how we just got Netflix over the summer, and we were behind the times by 6 years. So yeah, with hockey, we hope in some way, shape, or form it does come back. It does sound like it will be after the new year and not before. And the other thing that will happen here soon is we will get into a lot of the off-season moves, free agency for hockey. And I want to make sure I'm giving the right date here. Is well underway, as we've talked about on the program. but I do think you're going to start to see some more moves made once you get a situation where you have a kind of a concrete plan on when the game's going to come back and in what way, shape, or form. So,
well, and at some point too, like they're going to have to try to get back on schedule. You know what I mean?
yes, they're going to have to get caught up. So, I don't think I said this on the program a couple of weeks ago. I think I told you off the air, but I'll say it on the program. I had spoke with someone through my real job, which is not this, at the NHL I had as a client a couple weeks ago, and he had told me that they have on their board the top infectious disease doctors in the world, a collection of them, right? So they were told that the thought of having fans in the arenas in the first half of 2021, which would be this coming season, is slim. There is a chance, but it's slim. But on the bright side, they feel like next fall there will be an ability to have fans in the arenas. Now, that may not mean full capacity, but right now it's a starting point.
Yeah.
And it's better than where we are. Yeah. So hopefully that's right. And if it is, that will tell you to what you just said, which is a great point, Dougie Sticks, our hockey maven on the show, that eventually they're going to have to get back on the schedule where a NHL season begins in October with the Stanley Cup commencing in June. So hopefully we get back there. So on to the football front for the day, which I will say last week we were going into week 8 and we had a record of 4 winning weeks and 3 losing weeks. So we were right there. And I said, we need to find a way to win this week because 5-3 sounds a lot better than 4-4.
True.
Right?
Very, very true.
Okay. So we had our best week in week 9. Week 8. We responded, we regrouped, and here we are. And when I go through the recap, you are going to see how we absolutely crushed it last week. We had, now, let me ask an etiquette question here.
Yeah.
Right off the top.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm not mentioning names either.
Okay.
But, so, I had Miami getting 3.5 at home versus the Rams. My logic on the show last week was the Rams had been very inconsistent and they had to fly cross country to play Miami. And Miami was coming off a bye and had Tua, the quarterback, was making his first career start. So I just kind of felt like there was a little mojo heading that way.
Yeah.
I was big on this game. I said this last week. On Sunday, I was texting with a friend in town, and we make bets, which is legal here in New Jersey, so no worries on that front. And he was all about the Rams, like literally like telling me, oh, my God, the Rams are only giving 3.5. It's a steal. And in my head, I said, look, I can't tell you. Like, I can't be nice, like, oh, yeah, I agree, whatever. Because what if you listened or you saw me, you know that I preached the complete opposite.
Yeah.
So did I do the right thing and kept my integrity and say, look, I am sticking with Miami and I don't agree with you? Right?
Yeah.
Right thing to do?
Yeah.
Okay. So we had that one right.
Yeah.
And then here was the one that you and I talked at length about last week, which was Kansas City giving the New York Football Jets 19.5 points at home. Now, you had a good point. I was on board with Kansas City minus 19.5, and that is what I took, and that is what won. But you had brought up a good point, which I thought was true. What if Kansas City gets up and just rests their starters?
Yeah.
Well, they never did that because Mahomes had 5 touchdowns.
Yep.
Now, there was a bet on Sunday in Vegas, and I should have texted you on Sunday. I'm going to take the blame for not doing so. My buddy found a bet on DraftKings.
Yeah.
That was Le'Veon Bell, who is the running back or one of the running backs for Kansas City. We talked about how the Jets let him go a couple weeks ago. So you know that this guy wants to destroy the Jets on Sunday.
Yeah.
You know it, right? He's got added motivation to do so. There was a bet out there on DraftKings on the over-under for Le'Veon Bell receiving yards on Sunday was 15.5. Okay, which is nothing. Yeah. Right? Now, you know that the Jets, right. The Jets defense sucks.
Yeah.
Right. And he's also motivated. So my buddy found it. I can't get credit for this. I had a friend that found it and I got all in. So I put the bet in at like 12:56, something like that. The game starts at 1:05. I got a text. I don't know how it happened, but it did. at 109. So Kansas City must have had the ball first, and Le'Veon Bell on the first drive must have had a long reception or something because the bet hit by 109.
Nice.
That's how bad. That was
a sure thing.
That is how atrocious the Jets are.
Yeah.
They're losing. Like they're giving you over unders on your defense, and you're losing it in the first minute of the game.
First minute.
Holy crap. So we had the Kansas City Chiefs giving 19.5. They won 35-9, so they covered. The other game, which was probably one of the better games of the weekend we had, which was Pittsburgh getting 4.5 in Baltimore. Pittsburgh went into the matchup undefeated against their rival in Baltimore, and Lamar Jackson. Now, I will sing the praises of Lamar Jackson forever because I had him in fantasy last year when he set all kinds of records. Mm-hmm. But Lamar Jackson had a terrible game, and then people were all over him on social media halfway through the game. What is wrong with Lamar Jackson? And then had a costly fumble that cost his team the game in the fourth quarter. Pittsburgh now remains undefeated. I'm not sure that I'm buying them yet, but they remain undefeated, so we had that one right. The other one,
and fun fact before you,
yeah, sure.
If the Steelers win next week, it'll be the first time ever they'll be 8-0. They've never been 8-0 before.
Really?
Yes.
I did not know that, and they are down in Dallas actually.
So there you go. There's 3-0.
There you go. Guess what? If becomes when, and when is Sunday at 7:00 when that game is. So we had Cincinnati getting 5.5 at home. Now I say all the time on the show that I like a lot when home teams are getting points. That was the case with Miami last week versus the Rams that hit. It also was the case with Cincinnati, who was getting 5.5 at home versus Tennessee. They just actually won the game outright. Now I ended up having to do something a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? A little bit daring. And that was for fantasy last week. I had to pick up a quarterback because my quarterback had not been playing well. And I decided on a 1-week basis to go with Joe Burrow. And in that Cincinnati game, he did pretty well. He had a really average first half, at which point I was saying to myself, why did I do so? And then the second half came around, and Cincinnati scored 2 receiving touchdowns in the second half. So we had that. And then the game we had getting wrong that ruined our perfect week. Oh. Thank you, Matt Patricia, defensive specialist up in Detroit. We had Detroit getting 3 at home versus Indy, and they just got bamboozled. That may be a nice way. I don't ask me to spell that, but they got bamboozled up there. And Matt Patricia's got to be out of a job after this year. I just don't understand the logic in that. But so we went 4-1 on the week, moving our record to 5 winning weeks and 3 losing weeks. So I remain with my statement. If you pay attention to us and you do what we tell you to do, you would have made money.
You would have made money.
So we're going to try and keep it up here in week 9. So here we go.
Before you new picks,
sure.
I got a quote of the week from last week from an NFL player. You ready for this?
Yes.
Who I think is slowly becoming my favorite player, and I want him to succeed. So this quote is from Fitzmagic.
Okay.
So he goes, this is on Tua starting, this week. And his quote is, he might be younger than me, quicker, faster, better decision-making in the pocket, better looking, more poised, a winner, and his face doesn't look like 1980s Bush trying to escape a bikini. I forgot where I was going with this.
And he stopped.
Like that. Like, what's your thoughts on Tua play? He's like,
yeah. You know what? Ryan Fitzpatrick is a guy. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure I'm right on this. He went to Harvard, right? So a lot of quarterbacks don't come out of Harvard, right?
True, very true.
And he's kind of been a journeyman in the league. He was on the Jets for a while. He was in Buffalo. He's down in Miami. He's had other stops as well. You know what? He's a serviceable quarterback. He'll go down and he'll be remembered well throughout the league. I mean, look, he's not going to retire with Joe Montana stats or Drew Brees, but good for him.
Yeah,
right.
He was like, yeah, I forgot where I was going with this, but it's funny. And I honestly, I think. I hope Miami lets him play, lets him go. I think he should go to Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas needs a quarterback. Did you watch the Sunday night game? The Dallas
game?
The Dallas game. All right, let me. I'm not going to be nice here, but I know that this person is probably not listening. If it is, so be it. I have we've talked about that. I have somebody that makes bets on my account. They live out of state, so they'll call me, whatever, totally legal, no big deal. He had a parlay on the day on Sunday where he had some stuff in the early games and hit everything. The last thing he needed to happen was Dallas to win outright on Sunday night, which certainly they were not favored, but it wouldn't have been like the upset of the century,
Yeah.
right? So he would have cashed out $912 if Dallas had won. Why not at that point at like 7:30 before the game put 400, 500, something like that on Philly? Because then you're hedging. You know you're going to walk out of here with $400 or $500 instead of letting it ride on the Cowboys, who were giving 10.5 points.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
Yeah, I agree.
So the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday night had a guy playing quarterback named Ben DiNucci. Okay. I never heard of the dude at all. And he's exactly the type of guy you would think would, like, if you were a kid or you're a teenager, right? And you go with your friends on like a Sunday afternoon and you play football on the field in the town you live in, you would expect like someone like Ben DiNucci to just show up. And this dude, and he looks like that sort of guy too, is now like sidearm passing. I don't know if you can see on the camera.
Yeah.
Sidearm passes. And when you saw that was your quarterback, you should have known then to hedge your bet. That's my point. Because at the end of the day, that bet ended up cashing out 0. So here are our week 9 picks. Last week it worked. We said Kansas City was giving 19.5 versus the Jets. Now they're giving almost half of that. And they're giving 10.5 at home to the Carolina Panthers. To me, and you know what, we have the current spreads up on the screen here in the studio, and it is still 10.5, I can see. Why Carolina is better than the Jets, I get it, but they're not that good. They've got issues. Kansas City's still at home. 10.5 for that offense is not a lot. Give me Kansas City again. Now, here's the other reason why Kansas City will win and win big, because I am playing against Patrick Mahomes in fantasy this week. So he's guaranteed to go off and have a good game.
Absolutely.
Give me the Bears plus 5.5 in Tennessee. Look, I don't love Tennessee, and I don't love the Bears either, but it's a lot of points in a game that's probably kind of like a blue collar sort of game. The Bears are tough to watch. We had coverage of that game here in the Northeast this weekend when they played the Saints. This is not exciting to watch, but it's going to be a defensive game, probably a lower scoring game. I'll take the Bears getting 5.5. The next game now, when I looked at these games yesterday and I was trying to pick what I was going to take when I was sitting in the car as my son was outside at soccer practice in the cold, those first 2 games that I just gave you came to me pretty easily. The next 3 did not. So I'm going to just say that.
All right.
The Falcons -4 at home versus Denver. Here's why I like it, and I'm taking it.
All
the
right.
Falcons maybe have turned a corner. They're 2-1 with their new coach. They won on Thursday night on the road at the aforementioned Carolina Panthers. They seem now to be a little bit healthier. Todd Gurley seems healthy. Julio Jones has played the last couple weeks. Denver is not that good. So give me the Falcons -4 at home. But leave it to the Falcons to blow a lead like they normally do. Like they'll be up 18 and then all of a sudden they'll lose by 4 and my bet's gone. We will have had that bet won for 59 minutes of the game. The next game, I don't know what I want to do here, but I'm picking this game because I think it's a good game to pick. Seattle, red hot, MVP candidate Russell Wilson, goes across the country up to Buffalo, New York to play the first place Buffalo Bills. Buffalo is getting 2.5. I'm going to take Buffalo. I'm going to go.
You're going to go with Buffalo?
I'm going to go, but here's my reason. The weather could be cold, right? It's a little bit different. The offense is a little bit different. The wind's up there. Obviously, Seattle's got some weapons in Tyler Lockett and Metcalf on wide receiver, but that can change in the winds of Ralph Wilson Stadium in Buffalo. And Buffalo just, I don't know. They seem to be playing well. They're home. Josh Allen hasn't had the last couple good weeks, but Seattle can score points, and Buffalo can match them with points. So give me Buffalo at home 2.5. I know.
Seattle's not paradise. Seattle's not Miami. Seattle's a crappy weather area.
You know, Seattle was my last trip before coronavirus.
Really?
And I used to travel every month with work.
Yeah.
My last trip was in February to Seattle.
So how was the weather there?
It was actually really cold. I went to that fish market. So yes, you're right.
There's no advantage. That's what they're used to.
You're right. Well, all right. I'm taking
3
Buffalo.
points?
I'm taking Buffalo.
Seattle's a PowerPoint powerhouse. That's not going to be a 3-point. They're going to win by at least a touchdown.
We're going to come back to this next week and see if the confident Dougie Sticks was right. So I'm taking Buffalo plus 2.5 at home versus Seattle. The last game also very hard to pick. I'm taking the Vikings, giving 3.5 at home versus the Lions. The Lions suck. Again, they ruined our perfect week last week. We had them getting 3 at home, and yet they lost by like 20. Matt Patricia is garbage. He just can't coach. He shouldn't be a coach in the league. And Dalvin Cook is clearly playing well after his 4-touchdown performance last week with their win in Green Bay. Give me the Vikings. So the 5 picks for the week: Kansas City minus 10.5 at home versus Carolina. The Bears on the road getting 5.5 in Tennessee. The Falcons -4 at home versus Denver. Buffalo plus 2.5 at home versus Seattle. And the Vikings -3.5 at home versus the Lions.
So one, I think there's one glaring, obvious one that you should jump on too.
Okay, go ahead.
Green Bay Packers, San Francisco 49ers. Kittle's out, broken foot. Garoppolo's out. Come on, 3 points.
Where is it? I can't see.
Right here, the first one.
Yeah, I see. Again,
Green Bay's getting -3. Green Bay's gonna destroy.
You need to find a way to get a camera in the studio to show the fancy screen we have up over here.
We can do that. You like that? You want the behind the scene TV screen?
It's nice. Yeah. So look, Green Bay should be favored, and they are 3.5. And you know who else is injured with San Francisco is the running back, because I had to play the guy Hasty. Yeah. So they really have no one, and their Bosa's still out. Yeah.
I'm surprised it's just 3 points right there.
You know what? I don't like to pick the Thursday night game. You know why? Which makes no sense, because I don't want to ruin my week. Like I don't want to wake up Friday morning and ready to be behind the 8 ball. So I'm going to stay off that game. But if you had me to make a choice, yes. And it looks like if you weigh the odds are trending right now, people are trending in your favor, which is going with the Green Bay Packers -3.5 on Thursday Night Football. So we always pick the local games as well. Now, have the Jets, other than the Buffalo game, they lost 18-10, and I believe, if I remember, they were getting 10. So they did cover that game. I think that is the only game of the season so far the Jets have won with the spread. So the Jets now play Monday Night Football next week at home here in MetLife Stadium against the once powerhouse New England Patriots. The Jets are getting 7. But why would anybody? What's the logic to take the Jets? I know the New England Patriots aren't good. I know Cam Newton is struggling, and I know Bill Belichick's had this thing on the radio yesterday in Boston with his weekly spot where he said it's the salary cap issues that's hurting the team. But you're still playing the Jets, and Belichick hates the Jets.
Yeah.
So why would I? And look,
he's probably got some secret tape on him too.
Yeah, he probably does. I am going to take the Patriots -7, and it disgusts me to do that because I hate the Patriots. I went to school in Boston, and at the heyday of the Patriots in their run. So it is not very often you'll ever see me take the Patriots, let alone against the Jets. But and again, if you look at where the spreads are trending, more people are jumping on the Patriots right now. I am taking the Patriots -7. The other game is interesting. So the Giants are +3.5 in Washington. The Giants last night, did you watch Monday Night Football?
Yes, I did. I mean, it's just another example of how like they always are just short of whoever they're playing.
So I didn't see any of the game. I told you beforehand, we had lost power. Power came back on before the game, but the cable was out until sometime it came on in the middle of the night. So we had no TV to watch last night and no Netflix or anything. So I didn't see the game at all. I'm not sure that I would have sat down and watched it religiously anyway. But I did see that it came down to a missed 2-point conversion at the end, which there was a flag for interference.
Yep.
I like the Giants here, +3.5. They beat Washington earlier in the year. The Giants, it looks more than a field goal I'm getting. I'm taking the Giants. So for the local feel, I am going to take the Jets. No, the Pats -7. No way. And the Giants getting 3.5. Where do you want to go with the local games?
I'm gonna stick with you with the Patriots against the Jets. I think Washington's gonna take that.
And so you'll give the points. All right. So we'll disagree on the Giant game.
Yeah. And I'm just not confident in New York football this year.
Okay. So we will agree that the Pats -7, and we will disagree on the Giants. And getting back to our election day message, we can disagree, and we still can talk and be friends, which is hopefully where this country will be heading.
Yeah.
But I'm not confident of that, of the way people are these days.
True.
So last thing, I know we talked on the show, and they're not listening, so I will tell the story.
Nice.
And you can tell me if I'm doing the right or wrong thing here.
Oh, I love these kind of stories.
My car lease, back in September, this was a whole thing.
Yeah,
show,
still going on.
No, the car ended. I bought a car.
Ooh.
The car didn't come in. I guess because of coronavirus,
Okay.
which is understandable. There were issues at the ports getting cars through.
Yeah.
So my lease ended. Agreed on the deal, and the car was stuck in the port. So I had said to the person at the dealer, the man that I was actually dealing with, the owner, because I had bought Jess's car from there back in the spring. I said, look, I don't care if my car's not in, but I need a loaner car until my car comes in. I don't want to go to Enterprise and spend, rental fee.
Yeah.
No problem. Gives me a car. The car he gives me, coincidentally, is $80,000. So I've been driving around since the beginning of October in this $80,000 car, which I will never own, but it's awesome, right? To me, I am not paying insurance, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm putting in the cheapest gas imaginable. So it's like I almost have a free ride, and it's 80 grand.
Yeah.
I'm in no rush for my car to come in.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah.
I hear nothing from the dealer for like 3 weeks. Nothing at all. And I've been saying to people, I'm not contacting them.
Yeah.
Like, they can contact me in 3 years for all I care. I'm putting all these miles on this car, right? So last week, one of the sales guys says to me, he's going to send me my car is in. So I'm like, damn. But my car is in. They're going to send me the credit application because I'm going to finance it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Never sends it to me. I'm not going to remind him, right? It's not my job to remind him.
Yep. You're a busy man.
I'm a busy man, yeah. So, but then I also want to keep my $80,000 car that I'm not paying for. So look, I was conscientious that I didn't get the actual finance application, but not my job to remind him.
Yeah.
So 3 days goes by, and he texts me on Thursday. He goes, hey, did you get a chance to fill out the financing application? And I told him straight up, I said, look, I didn't get it. Did you send it? And he reads me the email, and I said, well, that's why. You had the email spelled wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Happens to me all the time.
Not my fault. No. He had my right email because he had been emailing me stuff previously.
Yeah.
So he said he's going to send it over to me. So he sends it over to me, and I say, all right, you know what? I'm not going to race upstairs because I was homeschooling that day and print the application.
Do it tomorrow.
I'll do it tomorrow. So I send it to him. This was Friday. So I fill it out that day, but I don't, scan it and send it back to him.
You gotta go to soccer practice.
I got something. It's pouring rain, but I got to go somewhere on Friday, right? We had this crazy remnants of hurricane, whatever.
Yeah.
And it rained. I mean, we had monsoons here for 24 hours.
Yeah.
So I on Saturday decided, okay, I'm finally going to send it back to him. So I want to say that I scanned it appropriately, but I made it difficult to read. And so I sent it to him on Saturday night because I know here in Bergen County, car dealers are not open on Sundays.
Yep.
He wasn't going to see it.
Yeah.
It wasn't
nice,
like he was
You
going to
bought yourself another 3 days.
Hey, here we are 4 days later on November 3rd. I still haven't heard anything from the email.
Now, you didn't put a down payment? You didn't put any money down yet or anything?
No, well, I think I am actually going to. I normally don't, but I think I am. But I haven't gotten on that.
You haven't made a commitment yet. You could pull out and still be good.
I could pull, yeah, but I would still have. I'd have to return my $80,000.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm trying to milk this bad boy for as long as I possibly can.
And are you leasing or buying the new one?
I am buying it.
All right. So it's not like you're extending your lease or anything.
No.
Yeah.
So to me, you know what? And when the car comes in and they're ready to bring it, guess where I'm going to be?
Where?
I'm going to have a mystery trip. I'm out of town for a week.
Nice.
Oh, God.
I like your style.
Yeah,
I like your style. That's something I would do too.
But my kid, so my son, is mad at me. Here's the other part of the story. So I have the car seats in there.
Yeah.
Well, I told my son, who's been wanting for whatever reason to graduate to the next level car seat.
Yeah.
And I've told him constantly, when daddy gets his new car, we'll put it I have it. We'll put the new car in. I'm just not going to install it in the loaner car for a week or what. That's what I thought I was going to have it for. So he keeps reminding me, you need to get your new car. So this morning I was putting him in the car and he said, remember, you need to get the new car so I have the new car seat. And I didn't have the heart to tell him that, dude, I'm trying to stall this thing as long as possible. I'm sending back financing forms that they can't read. I wrote in Chinese on it.
Tell them they're installing like some speed booster or something. Make it go faster and cooler.
Yeah. So
Putting some
hopefully,
they're putting a new engine in there for us there.
now I'm sure I jinxed it because when we don't go live here and I check my phone in a couple minutes, there'll be a message from the guy.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Come get your car now.
hey, we figured out a way. The financing's done. We'll be in your driveway at 4:00 today. So, well, that's a wrap on the show. Let's see this weekend if we can get some Week 9 magic like we had in Week 8. It would be nice. So, being that we're 5-3 in picks, again, 5-4 sounds a lot different than 6-3, Dougie Sticks.
True.
So, if we could get to 6-3 here, that would be a big thing. But Dougie Sticks seems convinced that I'm dead wrong on this Buffalo game, that it ain't even going to be close. So, we'll see.
I mean, Seattle's a point maker, man. 3 points. Right?
Two
Was
and
it 3
two
or
and a half.
2.5?
We'll see.
Seattle? I don't know.
We will see. Well, thanks for tuning in as always. As always, you can send in your questions. You know what? Next week, I'm going to make a commitment. We're going to take some questions. We'll answer them on the show.
And if you want to be, we can bring you on the show. So if you guys are watching, send us an email. We'll send you the link. You can come on the show with us and ask your question.
Absolutely.
We got the technology.
But what's scary about that is we can't be prepped, right? It's like sometimes with the questions, I know it's coming. You answer us live, like you may see us. Like, man, I don't know.
Here's a movie. Have you ever seen Talladega Nights?
No.
Ricky Bobby?
I tell you, I don't see anything.
I'm trying to give you obvious ones, but there's a part of the movie where they're interviewing him.
You know what? If you told me obvious,
and he puts his hand, he's like, "What do I do with my hands?"
If you told me obvious and said, "Did you see Back to the Future?" the answer would still be no.
What?
Yes. If you told me obvious and you said like Star Wars, he's out. We're out. We'll be back next week. As always, again, be nice to your neighbors with Election Day. Please don't.
Back to the Future, man.
Please be nice to people and tune in next week. We will take some of your questions and enjoy the rest of your week.